Hey guys, JD here with the Kawasaki Ultra 310 jet ski. Today, I'll be showing you how to check your valve clearance. Always ensure that your engine is at room temperature before measuring valve lash. So the first thing you need to do is remove your exhaust pipe assembly here. That is going to be a total of 5 bolts for those 12mm 114, and then you need to loosen this coupler right here. You'll also have to remove your catch can, that's right there, just for access. Next, I'm going to pull out my spark plug wires, and then we're going to take off this valve cover. So each of your spark plug boots here, don't pull them by the wire. They should all pop out like that if they're greased. And we're going to set these to the side. Next, you're going to remove all of your valve cover bolts. Here I have the stainless steel valve cover bolts from Kawasaki Performance. Those are 10mm. Again, these don't require a lot to tighten them and remove them. All right, so once you have all of your bolts removed, you're going to go ahead and pop off your valve cover. All right, next here we're going to pull the spark plugs, and then we're going to get ready to put the engine at top dead center so we can inspect our exhaust and intake valve clearances. So now we have to put the number 1 cylinder at top dead center. We're going to make sure that our timing marks are aligned. First, when the first cylinder is at top dead center, we're going to be able to check our intake valve clearances and exhaust valve clearances on the number 1 cylinder. Then we're going to be able to check our intake valve clearances on the number 3 cylinder, and we're going to be able to check our exhaust valve clearances on the number 2 cylinder. Then we're going to move cylinder number 4, piston number 4 rather, to top dead center, and then we're going to be able to check the rest of the valves. I'll take you through the whole process. With the band wrench, you're now going to turn the engine counterclockwise until those timing marks are aligned. In the manual, they say use a wrench. You know, this is notched out here, so you can use like an adjustable wrench on it, or the actual OEM shaft wrench. I've found that the band wrench is a lot easier, makes this process go a lot faster, but you will have to remove your supercharger belt tensioner bracket. That's just 4 12mm bolts. Highly recommend you do it this way with a band wrench. Makes this process much easier. So here's a look at your 2 cam sprockets. The one on the left is for the intake valves, the one on the right is for the exhaust valves. Now we're going to focus on the exhaust valve sprocket right now. You'll see there's 2 timing marks currently at 9 o'clock. Those 2 timing marks need to be at 3 o'clock. Therefore, we have to rotate the engine counterclockwise until those 2 timing marks are parallel. So I'm going to keep turning this over by hand until those timing marks are aligned, and this is at the top of the compression stroke. So there should be a single timing mark on the end. You can see it right down there. A double timing mark right there. You can see it right there. Single timing mark right here. You see it right there. And then the double timing mark right there. You want to make sure that you reach the top of the compression stroke. So this is when the piston peaks. You'll see the pen. If the pen starts to go down, then you've gone too far. You will also see these lovely paint marks from the factory, and those will be pointing straight up to correspond with the number 1 cylinder at top dead center. All right, so according to Kawasaki, our standard intake valve clearance should be between 0.15 and 0.24 millimeters, and our exhaust at 0.47 to 0.55 millimeters. With piston number 1 at top dead center, we'll be checking the intake valves on cylinder 1 and 3, and the exhaust valves on 1 and 2. Okay, so now that number 1 is ready to go, we are going to start checking our valves. All right, so here you can see the intake valves on our number 1 cylinder. Now our range should be between 0.15 and 0.24 millimeters. So with this set that I have here, this is 0.18. And when you're using a feeler gauge like this, you want it to be just enough so that it grabs when you pull it out, so you can slide it in and then just be able to pull it out. An analogy I've heard before is that it should feel like this is on a wooden table with a thick phone book on top of it when you're pulling it out, and you just kind of got to do that by feel. So now we're going to repeat with cylinder number 3, which is right here. So here's 0.2. 0.2 does not fit. Yep, that's perfect. Okay, so now I've just confirmed that all 4 of my intake valves, so cylinder 1 and cylinder 3, our intake valves are 0.18. Next, we'll be checking the exhaust valves on our number 1 and number 2 cylinders. All right, so we just did our intake valves, and now let's check our number 1 and number 2 exhaust valves. Now, I've actually already gone through and checked them, so this is just a demonstration for you, but you can see that this slides right in. This is a 0.38 millimeters, so you can see that this too just goes in. So these exhaust valves are too tight. They need to be reshimmed. These exhaust valves are out of range. They should be a minimum of 0.47 millimeter. They are 0.38. So basically what's happening is the gap between this bucket and the cam lobe is not enough. So with thermal expansion, it's possible that my exhaust valves will be slightly ajar. So we need to make sure that that gap is at least is a maximum of 0.55 millimeter. So I anticipate that the other exhaust valves will be the same. It's usually uniform. So we're going to move our timing marks, and we're going to put our number 4 cylinder at top dead center. We're going to check the other valves, but even if those valves were fine, now that I've discovered that these 2 are out of spec, we're going to have to pull the cam caps here, and we're going to have to reshim those valves. With piston number 4 at top dead center, we'll be checking the intake valves on cylinder 4 and 2, and the exhaust valves on cylinder 4 and 3. Okay, so now we need to put the number 4 cylinder at top dead center, which means we have to turn our crankshaft and change the timing marks. These have to be aligned a little bit differently. So now on this gear, you see these 2 timing marks right here. Those actually need to be facing the other way, need to be rotated around. So right now they're at 3 o'clock. They need to go to 9 o'clock. So I'm going to do that with my band wrench. Okay, so now our marks are aligned. So you can see here that our exhaust cam gear has 2 timing marks and our intake has 1. Now our number 4 cylinder is at top dead center, and you can see now that the cam lobes are pressing down on those valve buckets of the ones on cylinder 1 that we just checked. Same with the intake here on 3 that we had previously checked. So now we're going to check our intake valves on cylinder 2 and cylinder 4. And then we're going to check our exhaust on 4 and on 3. So here is cylinder number 4. So that's 0.20. Yeah, that one was a little tighter, interestingly enough. Okay, that one's also 0.20. All right, so then we're going to check our exhaust valves on cylinder 4. So these exhaust valves, the clearance should be no tighter than 0.47 millimeters or 0.0185 inches. And it looks like these exhaust valves are going to be too tight. So I've gone through with the feeler gauge, and it looks like these are 0.38. So, yeah, 0.38. So what that means is that all my exhaust valves are too tight. So they're out of range, right? They're out of range. They're below this 0.47, which means they are too tight. Now this is not uncommon. That's why Kawasaki tells you to check your valve lash. Right now what's happening is while the valves are fully closed right now, but as the engine heats up, it's possible that due to expansion, those valves will not be able to close all the way because there's not enough of a gap. So basically, I'm gonna have to take this cam cap and the sprockets and I'm gonna have to take everything apart, and I'm gonna have to reshim all my exhaust valves. So you can see that these are all 0.38. So stay tuned for my next video where I show you how to actually shim your valves. And we're gonna have to put some thinner shims in all the exhaust valves in order to get right in this range. And from talking to guys, Steve from Kawi Performance, he likes this to be 0.22 inches or 0.55 millimeters. He says the top of that range is ideal to account for expansion. So I will be reshimming all my exhaust valves. Make sure to write down all the values on a sheet of paper so that you have them for reference at a later time. So basically, when we're reshimming the valves, how do you determine how they will be reshimmed? Well, there's this formula here. So present shim thickness, measured valve clearance, minus the specified valve clearance. And you can see here they use an average value. So for the exhaust, they're saying 0.51 millimeters. So what we have to do is you first have to take these, you have to take the cam caps off, take the buckets out, and measure the current shims in there. Once we have the current shims, we're then gonna use this formula here to determine what size shims we need to install. We'll use this conversion table here. This tells you the part number for every single shim. I purchased a master Japanese shim kit from Amazon. If you are purchasing that, make sure you purchase shims that are 9.48 millimeters in diameter. They're pretty standard in the Japanese motorcycle world. And they'll look exactly like this. Each of them will have a number. You could then use that number to figure out the exact size of those factory shims, the thickness of those shims. And or you can use a gauge like this. So there you go. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more exclusive jet ski content only on JD's Water World.